Hello and welcome to the chaos. I'm Kristen and I run Cheerful Chaos Crafts, and this video is going to be a little bit of a two-part kind of thing. I'm not splitting the actual video, but I have two different topics I want to talk about. So first one is going to be an overview of my last show, how I did. I do have some clips from the show itself that I'll insert too. And then the second topic is on a new pattern, kind of a pattern review that I tried, and some of the steps that I went through to adjust for my own personal crochet style and how that affected that pattern. Because the way everybody crochets is a little bit differently, and sometimes patterns, especially the no-sew patterns that have legs and stuff, will come out a little differently than what they look in the picture, depending on how you crochet. And I have certain ways that I kind of adjust for that. So hopefully this will help. Sorry, I think I have a cat hair on my lip. So hopefully, those of you that also struggle with trying to figure out what to do with these patterns where the legs just don't want to line up, or the eyes or whatever, maybe this will help. And what else was I going to say? Can't really remember, but we'll jump into it. So at the market, it was, I also want to apologize for how froggy my voice sounds. It is first thing in the morning, for one thing. Still working on my coffee for a second. And I am coming down, or have come down, with a little bit of a cold, which is making me a little bit hoarse, on top of Sunday just having a fantastic worship service at our church that wound up superseding the regular service, and we all just worshiped as a communal body, an hour and a half of singing praise to God. It was amazing. And then Sunday night, my dad and I went to a Switchfoot concert together, which it's their 20th anniversary of their Beautiful Letdown album. My dad and I attended the first tour, the Beautiful Letdown, 20 years ago, and that's the only concert I had ever been to in my entire life. And then they came back to my hometown, not exactly right where I live, but within 20 minutes, and on their anniversary tour. So I was like, well, we have to go. So my dad and I went together, and it was fantastic, and I sang every song, and I completely blew up my throat, so I might sound real froggy for this one. We're also, as you probably noticed, in a little bit of a different location. I have brought you to my usual comfy chair where I sit and crochet and work and watch TV and whatnot. Just a little change of pace from where we normally record. Okay, I have my tablet here with my information from my sale. So last Saturday was the sale. It was called Bark in the Park. And it was a sale to benefit a local shelter that works on adopting out pets. It's a no-kill shelter. So there were doggies everywhere, which was probably the best part. There was also a little pet carrier, kittens that the shelter had brought. They brought a couple of dogs that were up for adoption, and a little carrier full of kittens, and it was adorable. So there were dogs wandering back and forth everywhere. It was in a park. It's the water park in Columbia, but I don't think the actual water park part of it functions anymore. But they have playgrounds, and so it's more like a city park, a place for people to congregate. And they have a really big pavilion with a concrete stage in it, and the grills around the outside, like regular pavilions do. So they had us all in the pavilion, which was enormous. It was the biggest pavilion I think I've ever seen. So it was pretty well shaded. I had my own tent as well in case any sun kind of glanced in from the edge of the pavilion. So I was well covered. I didn't have any issues with that. It was still hot. It was 105, but it didn't feel that bad up underneath all that shade. And with the concrete floor under the shade, I think that also helped to seep away some of the heat, more so than the other just straight outdoor markets where you're on dirt. So that was decent. It was okay. We were out there from 9 o'clock was set up. The event opened at 10. It was supposed to go until 5, but most of us wound up packing up around 2:30 or 3 because it was just getting too hot to sit out there anymore, and nobody was showing up anymore at that point. Traffic was fairly steady, more so than I had expected. I was really, and I mentioned this in a previous video, I was really only just hoping to make back my vendor fee, which I did. I actually made a profit on this one. So to have people beyond that actually coming in and walking around was a pleasant surprise. Wasn't a lot, it wasn't a huge traffic flow, but it was pretty steady, pretty decent. So let's get into what I sold. So in my Square app, it does have it ordered by time. So the first thing I sold was a possum, and that was for $15. Then the next thing was one of my chunky wool pumpkins, and the opossum was my own pattern. The chunky wool pumpkin was Cameron's Cute Creations little bauble pumpkin pattern. Then the third thing I sold was another opossum. I think I sold 3 total for the day. Fourth thing I sold was one of my little chunky boy mushrooms, or emotional support mushroom is what it's listed at on my pattern thing, because that's what it's called on Ribbler, I think. So, and then the 5th thing was another possum. So each of those were $15. Then I have in here where it says custom. Oh wait, I didn't go all the way back to the beginning. Oh, my screen scrolls down, y'all. Okay, I'll continue on to the top, then I'll go back down to the bottom. So then the next thing, it says custom amount $35. For some reason, my apple pie pumpkin turtle was not listed in my Square app, so I had to actually just type in an amount, but that's what that was. That was the apple pie turtle. Then I sold the blue camo sea turtle for $35, and I sold a maple chicken for $15, and that was the last sale of the day. So let me scroll all the way back down to the bottom. So before the opossum at about 1 o'clock, I thought it seemed strange that my first sale was showing up at 1 o'clock. At 10, I sold a Pokeball. That was to another vendor, one of the little handheld Pokeballs for $10. 10:45, I sold I'm trying to remember now. It wasn't another turtle, I don't think. It was a turtle. But it wasn't the sea turtle. It was the strawberry turtle. And for some reason, that one, I had a tag on it that said 15. It was in my Square app for 25. So, of course, I sold it for the tag. So, that's why I'm confused, because I have another one that says custom amount 15. So, I had to just, like, type in 15 for them. Because, you know, the tag is always right. It's my own fault for not fixing the tag after I fixed the price in my thing. And then the next person who came up got 3 things. They got another one of the small Pokeballs, so I do need to make a couple more of those to restock that. One of the mini pop jellyfish, and a package of stickers. So $26 total for that sale. Then the next person came up and got an axolotl, my hot pink axolotl. So now I only have one of those left. So I do need to do a restock. That was my dog. I do need to do a restock on Pokeballs, on possums, because I sold a bunch of those, axolotls, and sea turtles. Yeah, so those are the things I need to do a restock on before September, so I need to add those back into my list. So my total for the day in transactions was $226. My booth fees were $40, so that gave me a profit of $186, which is not bad. Not bad at all, especially for being there. Let's see, I set up at 9, I left at like 2, so it's 5 hours. That's not bad for 5 hours. It was really hot though. When I tore down, it was so hot carrying everything back to my vehicle that I thought I was going to pass out. So that was awful. Alright, so now I'm going to pause this video briefly so I can insert some clips from the market so you can kind of see how that went. And then when we come back, I will be going over that pattern that I was telling you about. Alright, here we are at Bark in the Park. Summer market, end of summer market. All set up and ready to go. Is everybody hanging out ready? Take a look around a little bit. See what everybody else has going on out here today. So, very appropriate for a dog-themed event. We have collars and puppy costumes and all kinds of dog-related accessories. We have tumblers and shirts. Some very pretty wooden items and artwork. Very nice. Let's see. Looks like Best in Show Boutique. Oh, it's a pet spa. Cool. Some more doggy stuff, doggy clothing. I may have to come back and get something for my big old boy to wear because he does love his clothes. And different accessories and things. Signs. Puppy photo booth. Super cute. Some beaded things, Grady beads. Very pretty. Some very, very cute stuff over here. Looks like some people are still setting up over on the other side. We have some jewelry and some candles, Sand and Paws candles. Very, very fun. Tipsy Farm. Southeast in Flame. Candles for cozy moments. Look at how cute these are. Look at these diffusers. Holy crap. I'm going to have to come back and get some of this stuff. Look at this. This is so cute. I love this. This is the best. Cupcake candles. Oh my goodness. Let's see. The Pampered Pup. Let's get a good look at that sign.
Natural dog treats.
All natural dog treats. That's amazing. Look at these. Handmade. Amazing. We have some, it looks like accessories, some cute pins and keychains and hats. Freshie clips. Lots of cute stuff over here. This is MJC Creations. Still working on getting signed. Yep. Everybody's still kind of setting up a little bit. Black Moth Clothing Company with some super cute t-shirts. They do custom orders. Hello. Some very cute keychains and earrings too. Very nice. Looks like Marion Pet Care is here. Hello. Oh, these are cute. Little teacups hanging on strings. I'm not sure what you would do with them. Maybe make a like tiny planter. But they're very cute. Stop and smell the roses. Very nice. Oh, these are fun. Necklaces, crystals, all kinds of stuff. Hello, Mississippi Moonchild. Some very, very pretty stuff.
Thank you, and I'm not done. I still also have a bunch of crystals and stuff. My bigger stuff
Yeah.
for today is right out here. If you want to look at
I
that.
see. Yes, definitely. Oh, that's a beautiful display. I love that.
I'm actually on 2nd Street now.
Okay.
At the Designs Gallery. It's across the street from 2nd Street B. It's just a bunch of local people who, there's like little old ladies who quilt, there's quilting, crystals. I do a lot of jewelry, of course.
Cool. Yeah.
But if you're ever in town,
Yeah.
I'm calling you.
I'm from Purvis, so I'm just up the road a little
All right.
bit. Yeah.
I'm originally from between Olo and Columbia.
Okay, so you
But
know
yeah,
exactly where I
but
am.
no,
Yeah, and that's me over there with all the crochet stuff.
I saw your stuff a while ago. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to come look. I'm a crochet junkie myself.
Awesome. And then we have some more t-shirts and tumblers. So set up nicely up here under this pavilion. I think it'll be okay even though it's so hot today. And I will check in later. Hi. Well, it is, I don't know if you can hear me. It's kind of loud in here. It is 1 o'clock now. So the market has been open for about 3 hours. I took a break to have lunch. I've made 4 or 5 sales so far. So I did make my booth fee back, which was my goal for today, because I knew as hot as it was, it probably would not be as busy as other markets normally are. Things look like they're kind of slowing down a little bit. I think I may give it maybe another hour and see if any more stragglers come in, but you know, as the afternoon wears on, it's only going to get hotter. So like I said, I'll give it maybe another hour and we'll see how it goes.
All right, and we're back. So now I want to talk to you about this new pattern that I tried. It was a lot of fun. It's called Spoo the Spider No Sew by Manolu. It's on Ribbler. It's a free pattern on Ribbler. Hopefully you can read that so you can actually find it. It's so cute. Very, very cute. Works up very quickly. Even like the first time through working it up and reading the pattern all the way through, it only took me about 45 minutes. So, and of course it was faster after that because I kind of memorized it. So it's completely no sew. The legs are no sew. The little mandibles are bobble stitches, that kind of thing. So, but here's where the rub comes in. This is what I actually wanted to kind of talk about with this pattern. Besides the fact that I love it, it's very cute. Everybody crochets differently, right? I mean, that's just a thing. Nobody's going to crochet the same as everybody else. So no matter what the pattern is, even if you pick up the same pattern that I did, the same yarn, which was the from Michaels, it's the Chanel Home Slim and Sweet Snuggles Light. I think this time I used all Chanel Home Slim actually. I used 3 different colors. So, but if you pick that, and I used a 5mm hook. So you could pick up that same yarn, Chanel Home Slim, you could pick up a 5mm hook, you could get the same free pattern on Ribbler, and yours is still going to come out slightly different from mine, right? That's just how it works. So I knew that it wasn't going to come out exactly like the pattern, and that's totally okay. I'm okay with that. I'm going to kind of show you my progression, how I dealt with the issues inherent with that. Excuse me, let me give me some coffee. Especially with no sew patterns. I'll show you what I mean. So this is the first one. This is the one that I made completely according to pattern. Did not change a thing. This was the tester, I guess you could say. So a couple of issues that I had with it were that the body is kind of thin where it connects, which is fine. That's kind of normal for these patterns where like a head and body will connect to each other. It'll come down to a round of 6 in that little pinch spot, but it made him floppy. And I wasn't sure I liked that. And you may like that. I just wasn't sure I liked that. So that was one thing I wanted to fix on future versions. And then if you look at his head, it's hard to tell because the black one is the first one I did, that the legs sort of are on a slant. One group of legs is like if you hold the eyes straight to the mandibles, which is where they're supposed to be. Now that actually looks pretty severe, more severe than it does if it's just sitting flat on the table. But so I don't know if it's my intention. I don't know if it's my crochet style, because I do an under over instead of just a straight like X stitch under. The under annoys me. It slips off the hook so much on that second part of the stitch, and it makes me want to throw my hook across the room, so I don't do that one. But that combination of factors, I guess, results in this sort of slant. So that was another thing I wanted to work on fixing. So for spooder number 2, I did in purple, so you can probably see this a little better. And I took, still followed the same pattern, took the tail for sewing in, and I wrapped it back through the body, and I came out up here and just placed a few stitches to kind of more firmly connect the body. So it still comes down to 6 stitches in here, but it's more firmly attached. It's not as floppy. And then I also added a stitch where the legs go. So when you first start the legs, it's supposed to be, you go 4 stitches into the round, and then you do a leg, and then you do 11 stitches, and then you do a leg, and then you finish up with 3 stitches, and you're back to your stitch marker. So I did 5, and then a leg, and then 11, and then a leg, and then 2, and back to the stitch marker. And that's what I did for all of these legs, to try to just, because I didn't feel like they needed a lot of adjustment, just a little bit. So that's what I did to try to straighten these guys out, and they're a little bit straighter. I hold them to where his head is even, see? So it's a little bit straighter. It's still not perfect, but it's a little bit better. So then spooder number 3, this guy, again, followed the pattern and tried to just kind of adjust the legs on the fly on this one, adding a stitch or taking away a stitch between them to try to make them line up a little bit better. And I got about the same results as I did with the purple. I also did the same thing where I stitched these 2 parts of the body together more firmly with the tail end. So now I don't think they're bad. I mean, they're still cute. It just makes it look like he's tilting his head to look at you. So I don't think it makes it not saleable that my legs didn't line up perfectly. It's just, I wanted to see if I could figure it out, right? I wanted to try to work it out for myself. So then I went back to the black for the last one. This one, I decided to try to change up my stitch pattern and go for the true X stitch. And this is probably the closest to perfect that I got with leaving it completely no-sew. I also, though, on this one, skipped that row of decreases right here that would take it down to 6 stitches. So there was a single crochet decrease that took it down to 12, and then you were supposed to do another round of decreases. I skipped that and just went straight into the doubling back up in the front loops to start the back part of the body. So I did not have to sew, and he's still pretty sturdy, which is how I prefer. But so, like I said, this is probably the closest I got to the legs being even using the true X stitch. But again, I hate doing that because I don't know what it is. Like, I can do the first scoop and then I go to scoop again and it just slides off the end of my hook and it drives me insane. So I'm not gonna do it. I refuse. Just not going to do it. So then this guy, this is the last guy I did. This guy, I went ahead and crocheted each of the legs separately. All these are is a chain of 7, and then you single crochet back across. So it's 6 single crochets in a little limb. So I did 8 of these to begin with, which doesn't take long. It's just chaining, and set them aside, left tails on them. Then when I got the head done and got the eyes in, I used my hook to scoop the tails of the legs in where I wanted them on the position of the body, and then I just tied a knot on the inside. So it's still technically no sew. I didn't sew them on, I tied them on. And then I finished the body the regular way. So that is the only way that I've managed to get the legs to actually go straight. Now, they kind of curl differently than these. Probably because they didn't attach to the body first, and so they don't have as much tension on them as these. But I'm not worried. I'm not bothered by that. That's fine. So when I make this pattern in the future, that's probably what I will continue to do, is just do the legs separately and tie them in. because I do like having them a little bit more even with the head. Now, like I said, they're all cute regardless. It didn't really matter in the end, but that's kind of what I've done to fix that issue. So if you have issues yourself with getting limbs to line up properly, you may need to adjust the way that I have done and just make the limb part ahead of time. And if it's a small limb like that, or like my little possum feet or something like that, you can just tie it in place. Then you're not stitching. I know a lot of people hate the sewing, but there's ways to get around that. You can just tie it in. I know Katie Being Creative in one of her videos was talking about a pattern that she did with ears that tied in. I can't remember what the pattern was. It might have been like an otter or something. I can't. My brain is failing me at this moment. But, you know, you can just do that with any kind of small body part like that. You can make it separately, make whatever body, you know, the head or the body or whatever it's supposed to go onto, and then before you stuff it, you just pull the tails through and tie it into place real good. Which is much easier than sewing. Now, that probably won't work on like a super tiny amigurumi, but I don't make those. I make big plushies. So that's my method of dealing with that. One other thing I wanted to show you that I don't see a lot of crocheters talking about, but probably a lot more use than mention it, is one of these little neck lights. These are awesome for working with dark yarns. So you see you can turn them on and then they go brighter and brighter and they turn off. And then there's also a button on the back that changes the warmth of the light. I like the warm yellow light. The blue light kind of hurts my head, but you can switch it back and forth between like warm yellow, warm white, cool white, and blue, I think. Actually, let me turn. Let's see. Okay, so we got, that's the warm, yeah, bright white and blue, yeah, and it goes back to warm, and then you turn off, yeah. So that's what it does. I got this on Amazon. I keep turning it on by mistake. I got this on Amazon. It's really comfortable. It doesn't bother my neck at all. I know some people have trouble with things like hanging on their necks, and so maybe this wouldn't work as well for you. But it really helps with those dark yarns, like the black yarn I did with the spiders, and showing your stitch definition. And that is all I had for today. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope there were some tips in there that could help you with your own crocheting. If you liked it, hit a like on there. Let me know. Speak out in the comments if there's other kinds of content you'd like to see. I'd love to show it to you if you've got specific requests. And I will see you the next time. Bye.